All right, everybody. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. BuckleBomb is ready for a live discussion. Today is going to be kind of our tribute show to Brodie Lee, and we'll talk about some other notable deaths that happened in wrestling this year. So maybe get your tissues ready. We'll see.
Grab a drink, everybody.
Have a drink, get your tissues, get a good try on. I am Sarah out of Syracuse, New York, and we're each going to introduce ourselves, talking about our favorite Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, John Huber moment. For me, I was watching all the skits on BTE with Brodie Lee, just seeing how much shit he would give John Silver, saying it's always fucking Silver, it's always fucking Silver. And then his very last appearance on TV, he gave props to John Silver and ended everything on a positive note.
I'm really a huge fan of the moment that he had Sue throw the papers at. I guess it was either John Silver or Uno. I can't remember, but that's him. Them on freaking BT. It was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah, it was because Brodie told Sue that Silver didn't like his food. That's when he gave her the papers to throw at him.
And I am Brian from... Or did you go? I'm sorry. I don't know where we're at right now.
It's your turn.
Okay. I am Brian from Portland, Oregon. And I think my favorite... I just watched the BTE ones. I agree. I liked all of those. But what stood out for me most as my favorite Brodie moment was when he went up against Cody in the dog collar match. Because it was the first time that I really recognized Brodie. And I was excited to have him come back, not knowing the background behind it. But it was the first time when I was like, oh, shit, this guy's really legit. Because I didn't see him in WWE at all. I had just saw him in AEW. So, super unfortunate. But for me, because it's a memory that I had before I knew all of this, that's going to be my favorite.
Hi, I'm Orlando from Fort Lauderdale. Hi, guys. For me, I think my Brodie Lee moment would be when he won the TNT title. He won it in dominant fashion. So I was just like, that was shocking, like how he won and stuff. But I do remember more of his stuff in WWE as Luke Harper. It's a little bit more memorable for me because, of course, he's associated with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt Squad. So,
It was also recommended to me today. I haven't got a chance to watch the match, but I heard it's really good. The independent promotion that was around for a while. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Chikara. He had their first ever promotions cage match. With him and he was known as Claudio back then, but it was Cesaro, and he did he jumped off the top of the cage to finish off Claudio and won the match that way.
That match is awesome. I watched it the other night.
And that was a title match.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Cesaro does a fucking European uppercut off the top of the cage. It's ridiculous. You have to go watch it. It's insane. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's like a few matches that I want to see from his independent work, so I want to like catch on those.
Yeah, we'll gather up some matches, some key moments. Maybe we'll do a watch along Saturday night. So be on the lookout on our page for that, for a watch along time or day. It'll either be Friday night or Saturday night, so stay tuned for that.
I've got about 5 picked out that I showed on my Twitch channel the other night. They're all really good.
He had some AEW dark matches, right? Too.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't think he really wrestled on Dark that much. I believe he mostly wrestled on Dynamite.
Gotcha. I'll probably have to go back and see.
I do want to say, when Daniel always invites us to go watch his Twitch, I ask him as soon as he announces it, and like it's dead silence. So I'm like, is he really like informing us, or is he just letting us know?
No, so I usually tell y'all, and then I'm over on Twitch. I'm like, I'm on a different website.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get the grasp of like Twitch and how it works. Like, just
like another TV station, but you can actually interact with it pretty much. And
Here's how it works.
So much different content on nowadays.
You go to twitch.tv/DMC Grizzle and you hang out. That's how it works.
There you go.
Maybe don't go when I'm going to bed. So late at night.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to do an afternoon stream tomorrow just for you, because I've been wanting to do some daytime streaming. Catch the day crowd. Catch the European crowd.
The European late night crowd.
Right.
Western Asia.
Well, it's ridiculous because sometimes I'll stream and I'll go 3 o'clock or 4 in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I get all these kids from New Zealand that are just like hanging out in the middle of the afternoon, and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to bed. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Do you have subs?
I got a couple subs. I need to get some more emotes and like all the good stuff. I need to give people a reason to sub other than the fact that I'm so amazing. So I have to step my game up as far as that goes. But it's an ever evolving process.
Okay.
I'll bring the TNA.
Yes, please do.
Total non-stop action.
Yes, exactly.
So anybody have any other favorite Brodie moments? To me, the first time I actually saw Brodie, I didn't know he was part of the Wyatt family. I missed the whole Wyatt family saga. So I got to see him debut with the Bludgeon Brothers. And to me, him and Eric Rowan, known now as Eric Redbeard, they were just super dominant team that destroyed everybody. And to me, he fits in that character well, just destroying like a big over-the-top monster.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. He has like a lot of great matches. Like the Wyatt family versus the Shield, to me, is the best 3-on-3 tag team match that they ever produced. And it's just like, even like before they even started the match, people already chanted, "This is awesome." And it's just like, and it was just magic on that match. It was just like, that's one of my favorite matches that I replay every single time. So it's like always my favorite match to rewatch over and over again. That was from Elimination Chamber 2014. So you should all see that. Oh yeah. Dallas says about Ziggler and Harper and their TLC match. That was a really good match too.
It's too bad we can't watch those on a watch along, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just sit here and watch them and then react.
We can put a live video of us, the 4 of us up, and then just tell people when to hit start.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
Now, last night there was a couple of tributes on Monday Night Raw. They had the graphic up. Tom Phillips gave the "It's Monday Night," as did Drew McIntyre. And then Xavier Woods using the discus clothesline, shouting, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Do you guys think that was enough dedication, or should they have done more?
The pure fact that WWE is mentioning him at all since he's left, I think, is kind of groundbreaking, period. Especially since he was currently signed with another company. Now, we barely see it when they leave and they aren't even wrestling. So for WWE to bring him up, period, to me is important, and it shows. To me, it shows the impact that John has actually had in the world of professional wrestling, not just for the company, but as a person to everybody. So, I mean, I think they did what they could. Yeah.
I believe it was Meltzer who reported they did film a bunch of stuff yesterday before Raw aired. Maybe they just weren't able to work it in, so maybe we'll see it on NXT, which is where I hear he thrived more.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just like, I mean, WWE can't win. Like, it's just like, if they don't mention him, then everybody's going to bitch at them. They mention him a little bit, still people still bitch at him, at them. So it's just like, they can't really win in the situation. So for me, it's just like, at least he got a mention because, like, technically he was fired from the company. And everybody really didn't like the fact when he got fired because to me, he would have been a big star if they given him the opportunity, you know? So,
right.
I can't really blame them on this one because it's like we just did Pat Patterson for a week, you know, you know, as we should have. But you know, I don't think that they maybe thought it would have the same kind of effect because we just did that. And let's be real, he was involved in a storyline where he was directly making fun of the owner of the WWE. So, yeah, the fact that he got to mention it all, I can't really hate on the WWE for this. And I would have to imagine that we'll see a little bit more of something tomorrow, as he would have been more associated with this quote, you know, Wednesday Night War that we're in right now. So, I don't. Of all the things that I begrudged him for, this is not one of them.
Of course.
I feel like what they did was enough appropriate. Comment or question from Dallas here. Why do you think WWE disconnected fans from the Thunderdome that held up "Rest in Peace, Brodie Lee" signs? I actually didn't even notice.
I did a little research on that when I saw that comment first come in. So it's only alleged, and there's only one fan that actually said that. And there's no actual proof that it happened. It's just said that he was kicked out for holding up the sign. The only thing that I could honestly think about, if it is true, is that it was Brodie Lee's name, which is a name that he used in a different company. I think that if he used, you know, Luke Harper or even his real name, I don't think WWE would have pulled it. I also don't know if it was even like the officials from WWE or if it's just the producers that would have taken it down. And I think that makes a big difference.
With the name Brodie Lee being trademarked, that could be the issue too.
Yeah, and also remember, he was in WWE as Luke Harper for 7 years, at least. So, and plus, you have to say it, like WWE, they don't really use the person's like indie name or the name that they use outside of WWE, you know, unless if they came inside the company with that name, you know, like, you know, they still call, what's it called? Medusa, they call her Lunger Blaze in WWE, and she was inducted as a Lunger Blaze, even though that she worked outside WWE as Medusa.
Yeah, she's far more famous as Medusa than she was ever the Lunger Blades.
Exactly. So technically in WWE's minds, of course, it's because they're in that bubble, like they like to be. They're only going by the name that he's known for throughout the years that he's been in the company. So.
And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even mention his name. Or I guess they did underscore, but they mentioned him by first name, like his real name, by John Hoover rather than Luke Harper. So, I mean, that's something. You know, I think WWE did what they could with what they had.
I think maybe they also wanted to show enough respect to AEW also, because you know it is someone that worked for them and was, you know, a part of active storylines. So maybe they're trying not to step on any toes, or am I giving them too much credit there? But now, you know, I don't blame them here. They did okay.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that could happen is that if you're actually supposed to show your face at the time, so if you're holding up signs, I think you automatically get booted, if I'm not mistaken. Because if you look at it, nobody has any type of signs anymore.
Yeah. Because here's the thing:
I think I've seen like really small ones, maybe, but I can't say for sure.
But also remember, it's just like they put like kind of like blocks of like certain things and images to not show when they're in the Thunderdome. So maybe that could be another thing as well. Maybe they said like no signs, no hashtags, something like that. Maybe I don't know. So maybe that was the issue too.
Right. Anybody got any other Brodie Lee stories or likes or memories?
Quick touched on a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any stories. I think that the amount of outpour and love that was given to the community was exceptional. I've never seen anything like that where not a single person had a bad thing to say about it. And I really think that speaks volumes as John as a person. I mean, we were sharing back and forth different messages that we saw other wrestlers have, other superstars had, and it was all touching and it was all warming. And I think Tony Khan is doing an amazing job at going to give him credit for on this Wednesday night. I mean, he rebooked the whole show. He said he stayed up almost all night to put this over. So for a company where he doesn't just own, AEW, that is not his only responsibility. He's putting everything he has into it to make sure that the tribute for John goes over well.
And allowing his son to book his dream match was pretty touching as well.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it kind of reminds me of when Eddie Guerrero passed away. Like when they did the tribute for him, like, because everybody loved Eddie Guerrero, like fans as well as the locker room. Like nobody had anything bad to say about Eddie Guerrero, so it kind of reminded me of that. Like, it's just like it almost like in that same sense, So I could see like, and seeing all the messages is just like, it's so sad and stuff. And it's just like, I was like, damn. And he was just only 41.
Mm-hmm.
He was just starting to really pick up some steam now that he was in AEW. So it was just like,
I know when I was working on the tribute video that we have up on the website and up on our Facebook page, I thought it'd be 3 minutes at most, just grab a couple, Twitter, snapshots and put it up there. And he just kept bringing in more and more that were just good. And it's like, I can't leave this one out. Next thing you know, our video is almost 6.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, the days after that, there's more coming up. Like, oh, this would have been a great one to include. But it was definitely great to see.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm sure this won't be the only time that we talk about John and his passing.
No.
I think that we'll have a lot more to say once the AEW Dynamite show's on, and we'll continue talking about it.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'll probably start crying on the AEW Dynamite episode tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think this will be my first where I'm gonna actually watch AEW, not NXT, and probably record NXT, because I think NXT is just gonna be like a reward show and they'll have like maybe 1 or 2 matches.
I know they're doing the Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne match. I don't know if they didn't announce any other matches, I don't think.
Yeah. But this one, I feel like, to me, I feel like fans should give AEW 1 million views because like for Brodie Lee, to me.
1 million
so
for Brodie.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, just my suggestion, we should just tell everybody just watch AEW, record NXT, so that way, we'll show our respects to the company as well as Brodie Lee, because like, I just, it's just really,
you should be doing that every week anyway.
I want to go on a limb here. Oh, God.
I'm just saying you should be doing that every week anyway. Just watch AEW first, watch NXT later. It's fine. There's plenty of WWE. Let's get this company off the ground. Let's go. Let's give them that number.
Don't worry, I have my TiVo, so I'll probably be able to record both of them. So I'll watch them whenever I can.
You've only got one number to give. Give it to the company that cares about you.
So I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to say not only is this going to be their most watched show, I think it's going to hit 1.5 million viewers tomorrow.
You're going to predict that? Oh,
I'm predicting 1.5 million.
Okay.
All right.
We shall see if that comes true.
So I went through, looking through, see how many wrestlers or personalities we lost this year. We'll kind of touch on a couple of the big ones. We'll, however long it takes to get through to an hour, maybe a little less.
I don't know. After this show, I'm gonna need like an antidepressant or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's only talk good. Only talk good about these guys. But there was 22 deaths in wrestling this year. I mean, we still got 2 more days. Hopefully, that's it. The one that started us out this year was a big one, especially if you were a fan in the 80s, early 90s, was James Harris, known as Kamala.
I've seen some clips. I saw him for the first time when he came back for the dealer search segment.
Mhm.
That was so stupid, but it's just like, and then I saw some clips of him. I was just like, okay. But I remember, like back in the 80s, of course, they kind of got away with being a little bit racist, but
Yeah, he was
Not a
from.
little bit. They got away with a lot of
They
it.
got away with a lot of racists.
Okay.
A lot of
I was giving you a
stereotypes.
little bit of,
Um,
course.
He's from an hour away from Memphis, in Senatobia, Mississippi. So he wrestled here quite a bit at the Mid-South Coliseum with Jerry Lawler and everything. So he's not only a huge name in wrestling, but he's a huge name for my neck of the woods around here. And
I bet, yeah.
that was a total drag, man.
Who was his manager in WWE or WWF? Was it Jimmy Hart or was it Mr. Fuji?
It's either, I think it was Mr. Fuji at one point.
I think it was somebody else. I don't think it was Mr. Fuji because Mr. Fuji, I think at that time he was managing a demolition. Was it?
I don't remember. Well, back then you would almost have like 3 managers, and all of them would come out and you would manage.
Oh, how
several
sweet of
wrestlers.
you, Dallas! Thank you very much for that. He paused dark.
He wanted to be here because he is a AEW fanatic and would not do that for anything else. So thank you. We appreciate that.
You be careful with that. Don't make us lose our only fan right now.
I was giving him a compliment.
Are you trying to look up who was his manager?
No, I was looking up his last match.
That's what I was trying to find too. I saw it in the comments.
I have a website I go to. I don't remember.
Mr. Fuji becomes Kamala's manager in 1980, April 4th, 1987.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
So move on in the meantime while we're looking that one up. The second death that happens here also, there's a bunch that happened in January, especially early to mid-January. They put a lovely tribute under in Triple Mania, which we all watched, was La Parca II. Real name Jesus Alfonso Huerta Escoboza.
Yeah, I think he died of in the ring, right? Was it? He was the one that died in the ring?
Yeah, La Parca.
Oh.
Yeah, he suffered an injury in the ring, which I think he died from complications from it. So it was a couple weeks after the match.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Carmella's last match was with a tag team he teamed with the Weed Man. Defeats the Haters for, I think it doesn't let me see. Oh, Juggalo Championship Wrestling in Cave in Rock, Illinois on August 15, 2010.
Is it the with THE or DA?
THE.
Okay. I thought it was going to be like the haters, like, like saying it slang, be like the haters.
Yeah, no, it's just the Haters. La Parca also passed away from lung and kidney failure.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So next up, also in January. Go ahead.
Before we can move on, I think they gave the Triple Mania that we saw last month. They did do a tribute for him. I think they gave him like a Hall of Fame kind of like induction, and they were speaking in the cards about him. So yeah. So if anybody, I don't know if they still have
a Day of the Dead kind of celebration.
Yeah, that. So yeah. So I don't know if they still have that pulled, but You should look that up as well. So that was very respectful. So
The next one of note was Rocky Johnson, father of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Total bummer.
Yeah.
hmm
I mean,
now it makes me want to see his series now, just to see on how his dad was.
Yeah, the new series, Young Rock, I think it's called.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, there's a couple names I'm not familiar with here that died in between our next big one. We have the Black Demon, I believe was a Lucha Libre wrestler because he wore a mask. Dr. Hannibal, Steve Gillespie. There is Justice Payne, known as Chris Wilson. I believe he was big on the indies, but I can't remember exactly where he wrestled for.
That name sounds familiar.
Then we had Rip Oliver, real name Larry Oliver. I think he was an 80s wrestler mostly.
Yeah.
And then the next one was a big one. This one hurt. Was Howard Finkel.
Oh, Fink.
Yeah.
Fink passes away.
See, and let me just say, like the tribute that WWE did for Edge versus Randy Orton, where they just had the microphone come down, you just hear the voice of his announcing, which I forgot that he did. I think he did announce Randy Orton and Edge one time in his career.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, yeah, so
I almost get, I don't want to say sadder, but it almost affects me differently, a little bit harder when announcers have passed than wrestlers. And the reason for that, I think, is the amount of time you spend with them. Because, wrestlers come out like 20 minutes of a show. Announcers and, ring, they're there the whole show. And you get used to, you just get more of their real personality. And for me, a lot of that hurts a lot worse than, like when JR, as much as we hate JR, he's always been one of my favorites since I was a kid. I'm going to bawl my eyes out when he passes.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
A little story about the Fink. Even in his final days, he was in a nursing home. I don't think he was able to speak much, but he had a little note up by his TV in his room that said, "Monday nights, please make sure it's on USA at whatever time it was. I forget what time zone he was in. But he always made sure he was watching until the day he passed."
Wasn't he the first ever WWF WWE employee? Like he was like the first.
I think that's right.
I think it's accurate, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah, apparently he was the guy that would go get all the news from the dirt sheets on the phone, and then he would write it down for everyone every day and say, here's the dirt sheets, here's the dirt sheets. But he would get up like super early in the morning and check out all the rumors from all the wrestling that happened all over the country because there was no internet, obviously, and
it was a lot harder back then.
Magazines took a lot longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently he was that guy. He didn't.
I think that was Mean Gene Okerlund.
Was that Mean Gene?
I think so, because you're talking about the hotline that they used to call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Mean Gene Okerlund. At
Okay.
least.
Yeah, that sounds right now.
I got my bald guys with mustaches mixed up. My bad.
It's okay, but yeah.
Rest in peace, Mean Gene. Also.
He was another tough one last year.
Yeah. But
another one that I didn't know she passed away until we were doing this, and I can't believe she didn't get more publicity. Is Wyona Littleheart.
Who is she?
She was one of the Fabulous Moolah's girls.
Yeah.
So if you've seen Dark Side of the Ring, she was on that show. So she was one of the girls that Moolah brought in to challenge for the title, but never lost to. She had the Native American gimmick.
Oh, okay.
Was she for or against Moolah? I can't remember.
Pretty sure she was against.
Okay, so if she was against, I'm surprised they didn't mention her. Now, if she was for Moolah, then I can see why they never mentioned her, because I feel like a lot of people that are on the side of Moolah were not getting too much attention, or were blackballed, so because remember, they changed the WrestleMania match name from the Fabulous Moolah to just a Battle Royal because of the backlash that they heard from fans, and sponsors didn't want to deal with that. So So
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, so
And I'm just not sure if she was, maybe something else was going on and it just got overlooked.
yeah. I mean, she was in WWF at the time, right? She was in for
No, I
like,
don't think I think she did appear in WWF for a little bit.
because of course they would have mentioned her on, of course, if she was a well-known, you know, like women's wrestler for their time, they would have like probably mentioned her. I don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So while Brian's looking that information up, I assume that's what he's doing. Looks hard at work. We'll move on to the next one. This was probably top 3, one of the hardest ones to take all year, and it was one of the more publicized deaths. Was Shad Gaspard.
Yeah,
Prime time.
He died because he saved his child. That's the thing. It's just like come on now. It's just like because an actress died like that as well. And remember, Kobe passed away because he was with his daughter. So so it's just that's why it's more memorable because of what he did.
Yeah.
And he was this generation like wrestler. I remember seeing him from 2004 to 2008, I think, that he was in WWE. So such a shame that he never had like a bigger career in WWE. Honestly, I think he would have been a really top tier type of talent.
I know there was a picture floating around. I saw it online. I don't last year's Mania or the Mania before of Shad and Brodie hanging out together, and now both are gone.
Mm-hmm. Can you put up Dallas's question? He put up. He said he asked about Kobe, like if he passed this year. Yeah, he passed. Remember, it was the January, and it was in the Royal Rumble time. Because remember, it was just like it was Royal Rumble Sunday, and everybody heard about Kobe Bryant passing away. So
yeah, and it was. I know there's a big, emotional thing that everybody was going to be hoping the Lakers would win the NBA championship this year for him,
which they did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The next one is the only other female to pass away this year, and certainly another more publicized one, and because of her circumstances, was Hannah Kimura.
This story sucks.
Yeah.
So real quick, Winona Littleheart said that that it's crazy that Moolah would pimp out anybody as she was 13 years old, if that was true, or that she took offense to it because it implies that others have prostituted her out. She says, no, that's not true.
So that explains it. So that does explain it then, because she was for Moolah, so maybe she was blackballed or something. I don't know, but okay. But yeah, so so the one that you just said, yeah, that was a big thing because a lot of women talk about how they're always ridiculed in wrestling from people in Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So that one really hurt for a lot of the women as well as a lot of the wrestlers.
I mean, we saw it this past week or last week with Jericho being fat shamed by NBA fans who don't really watch wrestling, but he said he didn't even care. But
he doesn't pay attention to that. He doesn't care. He's making his money. He's a well-known legend, so he doesn't really care about that stuff. So.
But yeah, I remember Hannah being a big deal. She wasn't really well known here in the States unless you watched a lot of Stardom. That's where she wrestled, right? Was Stardom. And it was one of the Japanese companies. Just being ridiculed for going on a reality show.
Can you explain to me about that? I never understood that. So was she against the contestant or something? And that's why she was getting all the hate?
I don't remember exactly. I know she was a contestant on a reality show. And I think people were just making fun of her for it. Or that she was a wrestler.
I thought because because I thought in Japan it was a very popular thing there. So for people to make fun of her about that, that's really weird. I don't know.
It got weird, and to a point, somebody was telling her to harm herself or something like that. Also, it's just really super mean stuff. It's not cool, y'all. Don't be a bully.
Yes.
Be a friend.
But I'm just surprised nobody got charged because that's technically that's like what's the like some sort of like homicide that they said because you invoked her to do something, you know? So
Yeah, I know we saw a case like that here within the last couple of years where 18, 19-year-old girl bullied her boyfriend into committing suicide.
Yeah. Yeah, that was messed up too. I mean, like tons and I don't know if you read any of those conversations, but I mean, people don't realize the severity of their words sometimes, and it's really unfortunate. I mean, it's so easy to type something. It's so easy to type the worst thing you can think of.
yep.
So much easier than just saying it to a person's face, and you probably would never do it or have the gusto to do so.
Yeah. Like when Brodie Lee passed and then a lot of the WWE superstars were writing about his passing, of course some trolls were going against them, be like, why are WWE superstars talking about Brodie Lee? Like, you know, they worked with him for about 7 years or so. So or even more. Some of them
And you
worked
read those
with him in,
you read those tweets and you see how much of an impact he made on their lives.
exactly. So it's just like, of course, you know, there's always going to be those type of jerks that's online that likes to, you know.
The worst thing that I say to people, like when I'm like mad at them or something, I'll be like, "You cunt!" Like that's the worst I get.
Yeah.
So moving on, I believe our next star that we lost was a CZW star. Was Grant Birkeland, known as Danny Havoc.
So I think this was the T-shirt that John Moxley was wearing for quite some time, right after he passed. So I don't know much about. I've seen one of his matches from CZW, and if you've seen one CZW match, then you know what I'm talking about. They can be pretty ridiculous. That was the first place I ever saw light tubes, if that tells you anything. But yeah, he's apparently very well known on the independent scene. I'm sorry, I wish I knew more about him. But I know he was very respected. And if you got John Moxley wearing your T-shirt, you're probably a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did die of heart failure. He was in a slew of death matches. I mean, that's what CZW is named after. Like, if you've ever seen their matches, they're brutal.
Mm-hmm.
How it's not outlawed, I don't know.
I've only seen like previews for like the pay-per-views and stuff on the pay-per-view preview channel, and it's just that's enough for me.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I like death matches, so I mean, and I'm sitting here telling you it's a lot.
Joey Janela is in that promotion too sometimes, I believe.
I don't know about CZW, but it definitely with GCW, which also has death matches. He's really into. Are we doing a live stream for their pay-per-view this week?
Is it this week?
I think so.
Let's do it. Indie PPV live stream, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Why not? It's the start of the new year, so
yeah. Starting the new year, look for a weekly watch along with us. We'll do different themes every week.
Yeah.
Might not always be wrestling either. We'll see.
Yeah.
So the next couple I'm not really familiar with. Maybe you guys are. Mark Rocco, known as Rollerball Rocco. We got Marvelous Mitch Ryder. I think it might have been an 80s wrestler, possibly.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
This one, Xavier Johnny Bedoya.
Yes, he was really famous in New York. I think he even Ring of Honor.
I know he's in Ring of Honor.
Maybe early years of TNA. I'm not sure. I don't know that much, but
mm-hmm.
You'll definitely get that. We'll definitely do some indie watch ones.
Yeah, I think I did see something that Ring of Honor honored him because like he was there for a few years. So I don't think he was in TNA. I don't recall, but I may be wrong. So
hold on, I'll look it up because I'm actually really familiar with him. He's well, not really familiar, obviously, but I'm pretty.
He was only 6 years older than us, Brian.
Oh, so he was only 30?
29.
Mhm.
He was not in. Oh, he was actually in WWF for a little bit.
Oh,
And
probably like
lost
for
it.
for tryouts and stuff. Like maybe like
Uh,
a dark match.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he did do one show on TNA, but he's mostly known for East Coast Wrestling Association, 3PW, which back then was a pretty big promotion, Chaotic Wrestling, and then Jersey All Pro, which I'm sad that they closed down.
So we're down to our final 7. These are all pretty big names. Bullet Bob Armstrong, who passed away.
The father of, I think he was the father of James, Brian James, I think that's his name, or Road Dogg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was up there in age, so this one really isn't too much of a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. He did do, I think he had a few matches in TNA. I remember, I think he brought in his father to team with him, for the tag titles, I think, like father and son tag teams, so I did see like a match of his. So
the next one I know, this one hit a few of the AEW wrestlers pretty hard, was Tracy Smothers. I know Eddie Kingston, when he had his pay-per-view match Full Gear with Jon Moxley, his ring gear was a tribute to Tracy Smothers. Then, of course, we got one that we mentioned earlier, Pat Patterson.
That one hurt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, like, the thing is just like he's more remembered because of a lot of the things that he did at WWE. Like, he was the one that introduced the Royal Rumble match. He was
My
a very
favorite match.
smart book. Yeah. He was a very smart booker, and he really backed a lot of like some wrestlers. Like, he even backed The Rock. Like, he helped The Rock to get to where he is. So, and The Rock had like a really nice thing to say about Pat Patterson. So, it's just damn, like he lost two important people in his life. The Rock. That's damn.
The next one I got on the list was actually earlier in the year. It just somehow skipped over the early part. Was Road Warrior Animal Joe Laurinaitis. And actually, I never made the connection. I did not know him and JBL were brothers. I just never connected that somehow.
No, it's John. No, that's John Laurinaitis. Not JBL. It's John Laurinaitis.
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. John Laurinaitis, yes.
Yeah.
The one that's
so
married to the Bella's mother, right?
Yeah. So the Bellas are like they're in some sort of family royalty now. So.
Yes, we is.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, it's like he was in like I think a lot of companies. He was in, of course, WCW, NWA, WWE. He was in TNA for a little bit. We hear you, Tim. Yeah, I bet you, because like a lot of people grew up with like Road Warriors. The Road Warriors, Legion of Doom.
Yep.
They're like the most known tag team. I remember seeing them when they came, like the originals, the Legion of Doom in 2003 when they faced Kane and RVD. That was a really big deal there. And I didn't like when they repackaged Legion of Doom with Heidenreich. I don't know. It felt weird in my opinion.
Because Heidenreich's weird.
I don't even remember them.
Yeah, that was in 2005-ish. So
I wasn't watching at that time.
Yeah.
And when they came back in 2000 to form LOD 2000, they had Sonny as their manager for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, that was 99, 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they called themselves LOD 2000. I think it was. Yeah.
The next one we got had a WWF career and then went on to Hollywood. He's known to us as Zeus, known to Hollywood as Tom Tiny Lister.
And for anybody that wants to know, he was in the first 2 Fridays with Ice Cube. So yeah. So I didn't know that he was he was in wrestling. Like I remember seeing him in Friday, and I was like, "This is a big dude." And then like years later, and then I see him, and I was like, "Wait a minute, he was a wrestler?"
Yeah. For those of us in the group that grew up watching the 80s, yeah, I remember watching Zeus matches.
Wasn't that match at WrestleMania?
No, I think it was
No.
SummerSlam.
Who
It
was
was
it again?
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I would think it was SummerSlam or something.
I
Yeah,
remember-
they wanted to build like a big old feud between them because the movie was popular. I think was it?
Mhm.
No, it kind of flopped, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you know, I'm all watching, or I took a month break but I've been trying to watch all the WWE pay-per-views in the past. So what ends up happening is I'll watch half the match and be like, oh, what is this person doing? Unfortunately, a lot of them have passed, but that's one of the reasons that I end up knowing all this random bullshit information. No, that movie flopped because what did I do? I researched it while I was watching like SummerSlam, like 90 or something.
What year are you
And
at?
then
Sue?
I'm still at 94. I haven't watched anything. It's been a busy 2.5 weeks.
yeah,
You were on vacation last week.
Yeah.
his mom was here. Come on.
Come on, whose side are you on here?
But okay, back to Zeus. Like I think I read that he wasn't a trained wrestler either. So was he?
No.
I mean, you watched the match and you tell me.
No, I mean, he wasn't. It was basically he did the same moves that he did in the movie that he did. And I think he was in 2 movies or something. I don't remember.
But they didn't want to train him either, like to help him out so that he doesn't get hurt. I mean,
I'm sure
I
he
don't-
did some training. I don't think it was like they didn't have like an NXT. Like if you go over the match, you do what you're gonna do, and then shine or down.
It's superstars.
Not that kind. Not in the 90s. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it was like an 8-ish show, and then I don't remember.
Because Raw didn't happen until 83, and then they had like a monthly service, which I think was like a monthly big event, which I think was Superstars, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember.
No, I think Raw was 93. You mean?
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was gonna let it go.
What did I say? What did I say?
I think you said 83, but it doesn't matter.
I meant
Your-
93.
Your heart was pure.
It was. It was trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Yes, Dallas, I'm totally down with that comment.
Can I have a slumber party?
So the next one happened just days before Brodie Lee was Danny Hodge. I know this one hit a lot of the older veterans hard because they knew
Yeah.
Danny Hodge.
Yeah, like Booker T talked about him because he was associated with WCW. So I'm not really. He was in football too, right? I think that's what Booker T
I think
said.
so.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the last one for the year, John Huber, a.k.a. Brodie Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper, which we've touched on quite a bit.
Tim, I'm sorry. I think I missed the question. If we're talking about La Parca, he did have an accident in October 2019, which ended up giving him kidney failure and liver failure. But it was from the accident, but it wasn't what killed him. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a side effect of it.
Complications from the ring incident.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, because I think they were talking about that when he had that fall. It was a horrible fall. You know.
And yeah, so we did talk about it. We tried going. I think it went mostly in order, and he was the second one this year that died. So he was number 2 that we talked about.
But I think this one hurts a lot more because he was more current. So I think, and plus all the wrestlers were involved with him, from Indies to AEW to Impact to WWE.
I think he had a WCW run at one point early in his career as well.
Did he?
Who?
Yeah, because he was 41, so I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, so like he impacted a lot of people. Like a lot of people shared a lot of photos, like Becky Lynch, Naomi, um, uh, Carl Anderson, Zack Ryder. They all had like stories about him, and nothing but kind words. Nobody had a bad word to say about him. So. hmm
Just hold off. Anybody else got any memories of anybody they want to share from our past wrestlers this year?
Wait, can you put up Dallas's question? What is this question in reference to?
What year was it Rey Mysterio killed a man in a match? I don't remember.
I don't remember that incident.
Oh, wait, was it when his early days, was it?
Wait, I do remember something.
But okay, so here's the thing: is this like I'm noticing that it's lucha libre in Mexico. It seems like their ring is a little bit harder than any other ring. So a lot of the wrestlers either like get really hurt, or they get paralyzed, or they kind of die in the ring. Like there was this one guy, I think he died when he was doing a sequence. I think he had like a heart attack, and then he like died right there. Like they showed up video. I think it was maybe him. Maybe I don't remember. But
I'm
yeah. So
researching.
yeah, I would have to say I think it was recent. It was like 2018, I think. But yeah.
Okay, I think I got the one pulled up here that Dallas is referring to. It's loading. Okay, so it says in 2015, Mysterio was wrestling in Mexico during a tag team match. During the match, Mysterio hit Pedro Gallo Ramirez with a flying kick, one of Mysterio's most memorable moves. When Mysterio connected with Ramirez, he fell unconscious onto the ropes. It says when it first happened, no one realized how serious he was injured. It says after a few minutes, they realized Ramirez was unconscious, stopped the match, and Ramirez died in the hospital the next day. So that was back just about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the kick must have just connected just right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there was a lot of incidents in AAA and CMLL with a lot of those. A lot of like I don't know if it's because the ring is really hard or something.
Well,
So
okay, so you also got to think of the risks that they're taking over there, and like if you think of WWE style, it's safer and it's meant to be safer, but not everybody's like doing suicide dive. Well, I guess now they are, but like they perform more high flying risks that you're more at risk to break your neck over there. It's the
that's
entire
true.
style that they have. Also, if you look at like AAA, when we just did our Triple Mania watch along, those they didn't have any padding.
Mm-mm.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
All right, before we close out this sad show, I want to read one tweet about Brodie. This was from Big E. His Twitter handle is at WWBigE. He uses the name Florida Man because he's from Florida. He wrote in, I hope you all get to know someone like John. He was the biggest family man and someone who made me laugh daily. I'll miss him every day for the rest of my life. I love you, Brodie, and I thank you so much for loving me. When he says, I hope you get to know somebody like John, just go back and watch our tribute video that we did, or just sit on Twitter and just watch every wrestler, or watch the hashtag Rest in Peace Brodie Lee or Rest in Peace John Huber. Just watch how many people love that man, and I sincerely hope that everybody has somebody like that in their lives where they can just turn to for a laugh or just shoulder the crying or somebody that supports them.
I agree.
One of my favorite things that John Silver ended up writing was that Brodie Lee bought John Silver a jacket and wrestling gear, and it ended up being $1,000 worth. And he didn't ask